Hello, and welcome to the end of our future. And then on Thursday, I'll welcome you to the beginning of our future. I'm Sharif Abdullah, and we're going to be continuing our exploration of um, two things that are happening simultaneously. We have a future that is ending. Um, it needs to end. We want it to end. It's about time that it ends. At the same time, we have a future that is beginning, that we're just starting, um, and it's very promising. And the question that we have is, which one of these events are we going to be paying attention to? Today, we're going to be talking a bit about physics, but really the physics in consciousness. Before I say any more about that, I've got some boilerplate stuff to talk to you about, if I can find it. Um, and that's not it. And that is. Uh, I say the same thing over and over. First of all, like this video, subscribe to the video, the channel, click on notifications. I get half a dozen people or so before every video, before every live stream is, are you having a live stream today? Where is it? What is the link for it? Well, you can find all those things out when you click on subscribe. Um, this live stream continues on Thursday when we start looking at our optimistic and visionary future. So today we're going to be staying a little bit on the dysfunctional side that we're leaving. Um, we begin all of these with a 5-minute meditation. The idea of the meditation is for us to begin the process of sharing our consciousness, of bringing our consciousness together holonically. We'll never know how to do that unless we actually do it. Um, so our challenge is when, where, and how will we do that? And we're going to do that. Well, it would be great if we were all in the same room at the same time. Um, if we're since we're not, it's really great. The second great is that we're here at the same time, and while we are virtual. So I've got my timer in front of me, and I am going to call up our candle, and I'm going to start our timer. I'm going to invite you to either uh, look at the candle or close your eyes. And I want you to take a couple of deep breaths, then breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, if you are ready, if you can start your process of coming back to our center, open your eyes, and if you're wearing glasses like I am tonight, put your glasses back on, and let's begin. So let me just say that one of the elements of the five latent powers, as you know, are temporal powers, and that includes the ability to speed up time, slow down time, or even stop it altogether. And that meditation felt like a lot more than 5 minutes for me. I'm not sure about you, if you had an experience of that. And if you are able to write a comment, you can write a comment on that. But today, we're going to be talking about the Fermi paradox. And what does that have to do with consciousness? Um, a physicist by the name of Enrico Fermi asked a question and asked it in the language of physics with all the mathematics behind it, but basically translating all that into language that regular human beings can understand. Given that there are gazillions of stars just in our Milky Way and gazillions of galaxies like our Milky Way in the universe, and those gazillions of stars have multi gazillions of planets around them, um, and some percentage of them almost accidentally ought to have intelligent life, how come we haven't encountered intelligent beings in the universe? Another way of stating the Fermi paradox is, why are we alone? Now, I'm going to give you a really short answer for that it's a bogus question. The question isn't, why are we alone? The real question is, why can't breaker scientists see the consciousness that's all around us? One of the things that I've been saying for the longest time, longer than, well, if you know me, you know how long I've been saying it, is that consciousness permeates the entire universe, the fabric of reality, the fabric of our universe. Every molecule, every atom has consciousness. And our challenge is, how do we begin the process of seeing and understanding what's right in front of our faces? Um, there's a really, really good article on the intelligence, and I might even say super intelligence of cetaceans. This is the whales, dolphins, the other beings with brains a lot larger than ours. And the question is, how come we can't see them as intelligent? I might just put this up on the screen. Okay. Well, I thought I just put it up on the screen. Oh, here we go. No, here we don't go. In my haste to make this better, I just lost my quote. Oh, there we go. Okay. First of all, you should notice the difference between the size of a human brain and the size of a dolphin brain. Um, they're a lot more wrinkly, and um, we have three lobes to our brains, three sections to our brains. Whales and dolphins have four. We can't even begin to think about what they think about. We lack the capacity. So, in this article, and if you write me a note, either in the comments or send something to mail@commonway.org, I will be glad to give you this article, which is about 15, 20 pages long. But in the article, Mr. Watson says, human imagination can instantly recognize intelligence in a blob of purple protoplasm or an insectoid and extraterrestrial if it steps from a spaceship dressed in a metallic suit and armed with a fantastic proton plasmoidic negatively charged ion cell destabilizer blaster. Dolphins, on the other hand, just eat fish. We willingly accept the idea of intelligence in a life form only if the intelligence displayed is on the same evolutionary wavelength as our own. Technology automatically indicates intelligence to breakers. An absence of technology translates to an absence of intelligence. Now, instead of putting a dolphin up there, instead of putting a whale up there, we can put up one of our keepers, one of the indigenous people on the planet, and they would get the same kind of response that we get from when we look at dolphins and whales. What do um, breakers do when they encounter um, uh, intelligence in the sea? Well, they hunt it down and kill it. They train it so that it'll do flips and tricks for us. They'll dissect it so that they'll um, see what's inside. Then they try to eat it. That's just uh, I think that instead of us looking for intelligence out there, we need to be looking for intelligence in here. Um, for those of you who have seen the movie Arrival, good for you. You probably need to see it a couple of different times because it's a pretty thick movie. But one of the things that I really like about the movie is that their treatment of this notion of intelligence. In the movie, they say that the beings that arrive, and I'm sorry, for those of you who have not seen the movie, I'm going to try not to give you any really big spoiler points that you haven't that you haven't encountered already. Um, um, these are a few of the points, and I'm trying to say them in as mild a way as possible. These are some of the points that that showed up in the movies, in Arrival. First of all, the beings are non-gravitational, and if you saw the movie, you know what I mean by that. And if you didn't see the movie, I'm gonna see the movie so you'll find out what I mean by that. They're multinodal. It appears to us that 12 ships arrived. I'm saying this may be just an illusion for us. It may be just one ship that appears in 12 places. And if you understand latent powers, that's not hard. Okay. But being in more than one place at one time is not hard. The technology of arrival is the ships have no detectable emissions whatsoever. They don't appear to use the electromagnetic spectrum at all. Now remember, SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, the only thing they're looking at in the world and in the universe is signs that somebody else is using electromagnetic energy. The way we use electromagnetic energy, we use it exactly like a pollutant. We spread it everywhere. You're sitting in dozens and dozens of radio frequencies right now in your living room or wherever you may be. They're harming your body right now, and we call that intelligence. The beings on the arrival ships are free of time, and at least arguably, watching the way they come and go, and again, I'm not saying how they come and go, they're also arguably free of space. And one of the things they said in the movie is that they're not interested in math at all. And all of our science, or the science that we pay attention to, all of that science is based on math. And they're like, it's a lesser way of thinking. So our challenge is, can we see them? Would we recognize them as intelligent? Would we pay any attention to them? Oh, yeah, well, if you show up in a 40-story tall spaceship, yeah, we'll pay attention. But if let's say that they just went to the sea, they're in the sea, and somebody in a submarine notice, oh, there are these strange looking creatures there. What would we do with them? Would we even try to talk to them? Probably not. We try to capture one and dissect it and stick it in a museum somewhere. If there are a lot of them, then we would put them in a zoo and teach them tricks and see if we could feed them fish to see if they'll jump and flip for us. Probably we just kill them, because that's what we do to things that we don't know much about. We have to begin to recognize consciousness and intelligence. We have to begin to recognize that consciousness and intelligence is not what we learned in books in school. We have to learn how to see the consciousness that is all around us. We have to cure ourselves of this notion that if we encounter conscious beings, they have to be as wasteful, as extravagant, as exclusivist, as greedy, and as violent as we are. That we have to get to the point where we recognize that that's not consciousness. So here is my answer to the Fermi paradox. The conscious and intelligent beings in the universe are holonically conscious and holonically intelligent, just like the keepers, just like indigenous people on this planet, just like the menders, those of us who are trying to reconnect with our indigenous roots. They're conscious holonically, not thinking primarily as individuals, but thinking primarily as human beings. recognizing their relationship to all other beings, the way that Native Americans talk about all our relations, the way almost any other indigenous group refers to all of the beings that are around them as their brothers and sisters, that we would recognize that the question of consciousness and intelligence has little to do with technology. If you've mastered the five latent powers, you don't need technology. You don't need technology the way we've been doing it. The idea of using something and then using it all up, is foreign. The idea that using a technology that harms your body, that harms the planet, this would be seen as the lack of intelligence. We'll be in contact with beings from other realities as soon as enough of us want that contact. Now, what that means is, as soon as we want, enough of us want to blend our consciousness, that blended consciousness will be a signal to the universe that we are ready for contact. Until we have that blended consciousness, there's nothing for the universe to grab hold of. It's like, why in the world would we go to that rock over there? We have to ultimately recognize that there is no them, that we are one. And because we're one, we're not going to try to eat you. We're not going to try to dissect you. We're not going to teach you any cute tricks or anything like that. We will treat you the way that we ourselves want to be treated. What a radical idea. And at that, those kinds of ideas are the things that will get us to where we need to get to. And here's another aspect. Now, remember, we'll be talking more about the positive aspects of this on Thursday. But one of the things that I've realized is that, regardless of the fact that we have indigenous people who have already said, we've been out to the stars, we've been in communication with star people. Remember, I talked about the Dogon people, and I think I have a slide of Dogon people here. We talked to the Dogon. We talked to the Dogon people, and the Dogon people said, "Oh yeah, we've been to the star Sirius. We've been out into other star systems." And when they talk like that, breakers completely ignore them. Like, yes, dear children, you must be children, because you don't have a spaceship, you don't have a launching site, you don't have rockets, because this is the only way we can get together. And the Dogon figured out a long time ago that is not the way that we need to get together. So once we, indigenous people have the ability to connect, go to different star systems, take their consciousness to other areas. But it's not enough. It's not holonically significant enough. Breakers have an ability, and I'm not putting down breaker science. I spend a lot of time learning about physics, about the new elements in astronomy, Oh, and by the way, if you want to know what elements where I get my information from, who I'm paying attention to, who is um, uh, a credible source for astronomy, etc., send me a note. I'll be glad to tell you. Um, but breakers alone won't be able to do it. Keepers alone won't be able to do it. They need something. Both sides need something. And what the both sides need is us, those who can see the wisdom of the breaker side, those who can see the wisdom of the keeper side, those of us who can act as a bridge, those of us who can become comfortable with both technologies, the keepers holding the technologies of consciousness, the breakers holding the technologies of materiality, of being able to take. I don't. I talk about this, but I think it's quite a feat. I say, take a hunk of meat and put it up on the moon and bring it back. Okay. Well, that takes a lot, and that is completely beyond the abilities of the keepers. What the keepers can do is take a hunk of consciousness and send that throughout space and time, or beyond space and time, to a point where it can learn from a different star system and then bring that consciousness back. That is something that keepers can do, have done, and maybe are continuing to do, and the breakers are completely clueless. They can stay clueless. We're the ones who are supposed to be getting the clues. We're the ones who are supposed to be um, answering the question of how do we exist on this planet with both technologies married to each other in such a way that we can survive and thrive. We know we can't do it as breakers. The breaker, remember, it's the end of the future, the end of the breaker future. It's, we're done. We can't continue to live on this planet this way. We can't live with our wasteful, extravagant, delusional self. Delusional being the term that Albert Einstein used for the individuality of consciousness. We can do this together. We can survive and thrive and travel together. I just suggest we should do that sooner than later. I am really close to being done on time. Good for me. And I look forward to talking to you more about this role, our meta role on this planet. Our role is not making more money. That's actually a pretty dumb idea. Even if you don't have money, making more money is not a good idea. And we'll talk about that on Thursday. What we can do is start looking at what is our role, what is the role of humanity in bringing healing and attention and awareness to our planet, the uniting of all intelligent beings on the planet, especially those who are more intelligent than us. And it ain't hard to find them when you start looking. Okay. Um, and then to take that intelligence, that combined intelligence, that holonic intelligence, and start making changes that we can't even dream of right now. That's the goal. I wish us all well. I will invite you to join with me in our inclusivist prayer. May all beings be well. May all beings be secure. And may all beings be happy. Thanks a lot. See you on Thursday.